As a kid, what was the job you thought you were gonna grow up to do? About 10 years old. Domino's pizza worker. My dad paid one of the staff for a hat. I remember them looking at me weird. The reason I wanted to was because my dad told me he worked at Pizza Hut when he was young. My response: the real Pizza Hut? How do you get a job there? This is so wholesome. Ninja. I wanted to be a lawyer. Made it all the way to law school. Changed my mind. Made it all the way to law school? Isn't that the first step, lol? How much of law school did you complete? You need to get accepted into most law schools from what I understand. At 7 I wanted to be a wildlife photographer. I loved insects and camera work. It evolved into video editing when I was 11, and at 15 it evolved into 3D modeling. I'm currently studying audiovisual media, in which I'll learn about movie production, camera work, CGI/3D animation, etc. I'm proud of what I've achieved so far. Neat story, congrats to you. And best of luck. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you, too. Paleontologist. Me too. Then I slowly began to understand that Jurassic Park wasn't reflective of the usual day-to-day work that they do. A GD. You didn't have the high ground. A lawyer. I'm now serving 20 years. Did you represent yourself? A ballerina, astronaut, artist, fireman, horseback rider. That sounds epic as hell. Please follow your childhood dream. A scientist or an astronaut. Pornstar. I thought I was gonna get that, bitches. So what happened? Grew up ugly? Nah. Too horny to try and get them to pay for it. A vet. I'm not clever enough to be one. Engineer. I always told people I wanted to be an engineer. I don't know why, I just did. And then several years later I found out my grandpa was an engineer, so I started looking into the different types of engineering. I'm starting college next year to get a degree in mechanical engineering. Work hard. Engineering can pay very well. Which type? I wanted to be a veterinarian like my dad, but ultimately picked medicine. I'm a surgeon applying for a subspecialty in colon and rectal surgery. Becoming a vet in my home state is ultra competitive. It was easier to get into medical school, but once you're in, it's a lot of work. 9 years of 80+ hour weeks, but I love what I do. Meteorologist. I'm always loved the weather, and I've always wanted to tell people the weather. A forensic pathologist. Got through high school and started on my first degree. Realized I had another 8+ years of school to go. Didn't have it in me. And now here I'm still working on a degree I could have been done. I didn't grow up thinking I wanted a forensic pathologist as my career path, but considered it after I got my associates. Couldn't take the amount of schooling it required either. As a kid, I once got it into my head that I wanted to be a siren on a fire truck. I practiced for long hours screaming as loud as I could, much to the dismay of my poor parents. To end this horror they took me to the local fire department, who were obviously in on it, for a job application. Part of the application was to be a practice drill. If I could scream louder than the real siren on the fire truck, I would be hired on the spot. I gave it my best, but it was not enough. Sadly, my dream was thoroughly shattered that afternoon. My parents had a hard time keeping a straight face while they commiserated with me on the way home. But you know how kids are. A week later I already had chosen a new career path. I was to be a mad scientist. Some kind of salaryman paper pusher. It's not what I wanted to do, but it seemed the most realistic. A monster hunter. Liguo. A heart surgeon. Wanted to be one since I was 6. Did you become one? Unfortunately, no. Around high school, my hand started shaking. Not terribly when I'm calm, but even the slightest bit of anxiety makes it really noticeable, no matter what I did to try and make it stop. So, cutting people open and working on their hearts didn't seem like a wise career move. Now I sharpen things. I spent a lot of time near a vet's office, so I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian. Soldier in the army. A police officer. But my eyes are not suitable for that job. Definitely a hard job. And you see some horrendous things. But if you ever decide to give it a shot, now's the perfect time. Almost everywhere is hiring like crazy due to the shortage. Color commentary for the Montreal Expos. I was a bit of an oddball as a kid. Ghostbuster. Life did not go well when I realized they weren't real. Actress. Fixing pens. Yeah, I was pretty professional disassembling and reassembling ball pens, and I quite knew the mechanism. Somewhat related, when I was in like 3rd grade, I wanted to get a job lengthening pencils that got shortened by the pencil sharpener. I wanted to be branch manager and eat cake every day. I used to watch a lot of The Office with my mom back then. Up until about the 3rd grade I wanted to be a janitor. But then I started to realize that wasn't a thing I was supposed to want to be. I haven't had a dream job since. Now I'm in grad school and it kinda really sucks. Surfer. I knew that I was unlikely to actually get a job doing it, but that's what I wanted to do. I saw the movie Endless Summer. It's a 70s surf documentary, and they travel around surfing for a whole year. There's a scene where they catch a wild chicken on some remote beach and cook it on a campfire. I just thought that seemed like the best time in the world. Growing up in Indiana, thus seemed to be some far out fantasy, but it stuck with me, and as an adult moved to Hawaii, learned how to surf, lived on a beach, grilled chicken and fish on a beach campfire. Now I live in Indiana again, and I'm a welder like my dad. The exact job that I ended up doing. An artist. I really knew what I wanted when I was young. I really wanted to be an artist when I was young. I would draw every day and everyone I knew said I was great. But then I got older and my skills did not get better with me. Long story short, I still draw for a living. Just with CAD. Fisherman. Doctor. Q wasted years at school and that plan went out the window. I thought I'd make a good teacher, but I realized I wouldn't be good at it. Firefighter. I've always wanted to be a pilot, but my views have been toned down a little to the reality now. Just wishing to be successful. Pokemon trainer. Fisherman or a truck driver. A YouTuber is what I always desired, but got dragged away from all that and thrown into work at sea by the family by age 13. I had daydreams of being an actress or archaeologist, but in reality I always thought I would be a travel agent. I loved office supplies and travel, and it seemed logical. I'm not a ton now, but I do love planning my vacations. Animator. I wanted to be a commercial airline pilot very badly at one point. Expensive flight school plus having to wear glasses kind of negated that dream. I used to love flying in planes, but as I've gotten older I don't enjoy it as much, so I'm better off not having gone down that path. Archaeologist. Entomologist. I was 5. At which age, I thought I was gonna do a lot of things. Let's say 10. At age 10 I wanted to be a famous writer. Not there yet. Well, I wanted to be a train driver just like my father. But one day he invited me to experience one a day at work, and we did a few laps from the capital city and back. And he even let me use the brakes and the controller. Of course I was sitting on his lap, because I was young back then. Now I'm kinda happy that I didn't choose that, because it was boring. Tractor driver. A vet or teacher. Ended up being a flight attendant. I wanted to be a football player or a soldier. A chef. I'm now a part-time accountant. Veterinarian. But I'm highly allergic to dander, especially cats and rabbits, so that dream died early on. I have dogs despite this, and just muddle through with allergies. I thought I wanted to join the army as a child, and once I realized how toxic military culture is I got into confectionery and pizza making. Tattoo artist. Now I'm a teacher. Bus driver. I wanted to be in the military, but both my parents shamed me into not going, so I never did. I'm sorry. Classic small town kid jobs, firefighter, police officer, etc. I was never a very inspired kid. I wanted to be a zoologist. I read through all the animal books in my school library. I watched Animal Planet in the Discovery Channel constantly. And then around 5th grade I realized I really sucked at science. Military career. My parents talked me out of doing it when I came of age. I understand they feared for me to suffer in the army, but today I regret the choice I made. At first I wanted to be an architect. Toward the end of high school I wanted to go school for nanotechnology. Did all the entrance tests etc. Got accepted, then I found out that I could not get financial aid. I had no dependents. So I was considered a dependent. So my income of 38k plus my parents' income and their assets meant my EFC was somewhere in the area of 45k. I wanted to be a microbiologist, a vet, a ballerina, a writer. I'm an Amazon delivery driver, a helicopter pilot, and I totally nailed it. But then I developed a health condition. Now I'm basically homeless. Dolphin trainer, dog trainer, vet, FBI agent, in that order lol. Candy taster. Be a wave diver, whatever that is. I dreamed of being a fighter pilot for the USAF. An animal biologist, or a nun. A scientist of some kind. Physics would have been my chosen field, but I sucked at maths and decided to play to my strengths and studied ecology. Now I'm a cartographic surveyor. It's a good job, and it's super flexible and pays well, but it doesn't feel like it's what I was born to do. Training dolphins. Architect. I called it dress up normally you would think, or hairstylist or makeup artist or maybe fashion designer. No, I wanted to be the people who got the dead body at funerals ready. I thought I was gonna be a cowboy because my dad loves westerns. I wanted to be a dinosaur so bad. You can still follow your dreams. I believe in you. I thought I was gonna be a tech consultant. Now I work in cybersecurity. That person that delivers candy to the candy machines at grocery stores. Superhero. A garbage man, and then a scientist. I'm currently taking the latter. Astronaut. Botanist. I wanted to work at a blockbuster. It sounded amazing to have access to all of these movies. Ended up going to school. Learned about options trading. Shorted the crap out of Blockbuster and made shitload of money at that point for a nice house down payment. Travel journalist. It may sound cliche, but I loved every bit about it. I would daydream about meeting new people in different cities and writing about them. Well, that did not happen. My father somehow managed to make me an anxious, socially awkward adult with no self-belief. Yai. Pilot. I wanted to be a Princess Mayo. Police officer. Currently a security guard, but I'm applying for the Dutch military police soon. I wanted to be a veterinarian so badly, to the point where it was my Halloween costume and everything for a few years. But then as I got older, I realized that would mean also putting down pets, and that broke my heart. Still kinda does. I wanted to create special effects for movies. I wanted to be an architect until I said duck it. I'm gonna be an engineer. Millionaire. I remember many a relative asking how I would become a millionaire. A comedian. I figured I was pretty funny and I loved watching Seinfeld when I was a kid, so I thought I wanted to do stand-up. Turns out I'm a very shy introvert who doesn't like talking to people, and I hate being the center of attention. I always wanted to become an archaeologist or a scientist, and now I'm on my way to becoming a scientist. Life is stressful, but life is good. Opera singer. I still have the voice though. Meteorologist. Studying tornadoes and hurricanes. I still keep up on that stuff, but it is not my job. I wanted to be a detective like Conan. I thought it'd be a vet. I became a vet tech at 19. Nursed other friends' pets and set broken legs before I was 12. Worked in the people world and hospitals. Now volunteer at cat rescue center. I got close, but am very happy. Car designer. Networking administrator. I wanted to be a neonatologist so I could help other premature babies. Then I learned that doctors had to administer shots of help people in pain, and I was uncomfortable with that. A veterinarian. Veterinarian. Wanted to be a medical technologist like my mom. Ended up becoming a nurse so I can come here to the US. When I was 5 or 6 I wanted to farm by day, make pottery, be a pianist, and also have my own restaurant where I then would work at night. I had so much energy back then. Thinking this was actually possible all at once every day. Clearly I didn't, and couldn't pick just one. My actual job became something different. Nothing close to what I fantasized about when I was a kid. Guess that will be true for most people. Otherwise we really would have too much professional soccer players, firefighters and policy officers. Being a singer. Then I took a choir class and hated hearing my voice. Killed that dream. Archaeologist. I still love history and archaeology, but I like to eat, have a home, be able to spend money, so I became an engineer that reads about archaeology. I wanted to be a veterinarian at a zoo, but it's way too expensive, so I settled on being a vet tech. I wanted to be a marine biologist, lost interest in that roughly around 5th grade. A newspaper cartoonist. I loved Garfield, Peanuts, and Calvin and Hobbes so much. I used to write my own 3 to 4 panel cartoons with the same characters doing different things. And I would write one every day just like real cartoonists do. It was basically a rip-off of Garfield though, haha. It's kinda sad to see that the industry is basically dying nowadays. That's awesome. I bet you were a cool kid. Ha. Thanks. I was actually a pretty weird kid. Truck driver. I guess it's technically true, but I only drive my truck to work, not for work. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.